Yo, Kingdom, community vibes, community ties. Terrance Tucker is the brother who's connecting the tribe.
Mr. Jackson!
What's going on, brother? What's going on?
Boy? How you doing, man?
Traveling, man.
Traveling, man. Hey, you a moving guy, man. Listen, man, first of all, man, let me say, man, just simply, man, thank you, brother. Thank you. You know what I'm saying, for, this right here, man, because this has been such, in my opinion, such, one of those things, man, where you actually watch somebody and you're one of those guys, man, that I look to for, my daily motivation. You know what I'm saying? And, you don't know how much, man, hearing your speeches, man, and, hearing, watching your videos, man, do, for my day. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you, brother. Real talk, real talk.
I appreciate that, man. It's an honor and privilege to even have a platform to provide and share motivational messages that I have, man. But yeah, man, I'm grateful and I'm humbled, man. I heard about you. I don't know if you even remember, but back in 2017, I believe. Yeah. I think is where we met at the leadership conference that they had, and I heard about you way before that. Like everybody, hey, do you know Tuck? Do you know Tuck? I was like, man, I'm in the military. I don't know nobody here in South Carolina. You know what I mean? I don't know anybody. So they like, hey, you got to link with Tuck. And so then when we finally met, I was like, oh, so this is the guy that they're talking about. And I tell you what was amazing, seeing a lot of young gentlemen that had published books, that had platforms, that was giving back to the community. And more importantly, in my perspective, young black men. And that was motivating. That was motivating for me. And inspired me to keep going. Like what's the other fella name? Tim Bowers, I think his name. Tim, watching Tim and do his thing, and not being a native of South Carolina, I feel like Columbia and the state kind of embraced me as if I was one of their own. You know what I mean?
Man, you are.
And so it was a great experience, man. And so once again, man, I'm just grateful to even that you even invite me to come on your podcast, and it's funny because it's something that I'm looking forward to doing here in the near future. So I definitely got to pick your brain.
You need it, man.
That's what everybody's telling me.
Gems,
I don't know nothing about it, man.
You got some gems, bro. But listen, man, you know that I got to start off with this. You know that's one of my favorite, man, slogans, man, that you use, man. Listen, man, team stay motivated, man. Yes. Team stay motivated, man. Let's talk about that, man. What's the mission behind that, man? And when did it start?
So to tell you how it started, back in 2012, 13, I was stationed in Fort Irwin, California. I was a staff sergeant, young, fired up guy. I like to yell and make my little, if you didn't know no better, you thought I was a cue, all the barking I was doing. I didn't know that. I'm out there yelling and loud. And so what people would say, they was like, hey man, you're a little bit too motivated. You're at Fort Irwin, which is probably what you would consider one of the worst duty stations in the Army. It was like, wow. So, hey man, you're going to burn yourself out because you're too live. Right. But what they didn't know, I had already been at the worst duty station, Fort Polk, Louisiana. And they told me the same thing. So I went from one worst duty station to the next. So when I got to the next, I was like, y'all must not know where I come from. I was like, I'm not motivated by my environment. I'm inspired internally. You know what I mean? And I'm going to affect my environment. So just mentoring young brothers, calling cadence, just bringing a positive vibe. I used to send motivational quotes to all my soldiers every morning. He just got selected for Sergeant Major. He actually, Sergeant Major Carter. I was the only E6 to serve as a platoon sergeant in my company at the time. And my first sergeant says, hey, there's a guy, he's coming to replace you, Sergeant First Class Carter, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay. He's like, don't be mad. I said, I'm not mad. I can learn from him. Right. When Carter gets there, I do a right seat ride with him. I show him everything. And First Son calls me in the office. It's me, Carter, and First Son. And First Son said, hey, man, I don't know what voodoo you to put on this man. But he said, you holding it down so good, he don't even want it. He said,
wow.
he said, you keep the position. And he already served as a platoon sergeant. He's going to go somewhere else because he don't want you to lose your thunder.
Wow.
Carter went over there. I know, I was amazed. Carter went over there. I kept doing what I do. And a couple of days later, he called me. He said, hey, man, I like how you push out the motivational quotes. I like how you get with your soldiers. You mind if I add a prayer in with that?
Ooh.
I said, yeah, man. So we were sending motivational quotes and prayers every morning to it went from my platoon to the company. Then eventually, after a few months, the whole squadron, senior leaders, everybody, and it got all the way up to higher headquarters. It got to the general and them. So then it became an expectation. Hey,
wow.
So when we didn't send it, because you can get caught up in stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, where the motivational quote at? Where the prayer at? I look forward to that. And so that was just our thing. I never looked at it as a business or anything, but that's like the in-depth basis of how it started. What catapulted was when I became a drill sergeant, and I was at Fort Jackson.
Okay. Fort Jackson, man, Columbia, South Carolina, man.
Yeah. Fort Jackson held it down, and it was one of the most premier and pivotal, empowering positions in my military career.
Wow.
Because it put me in position to do what I already love to do. A lot of people, when you think of a drill sergeant, you think yell, cuss, da-da-da.
Right.
And when I first initially started, that's what I was doing. Right. There was a young gentleman, Sergeant First Class Lawson, and he pulled me to the side on my first pickup. He said, hey, come here, Jack. Hey, what's going on, son? Hey, don't do what they do. Do what you do. He said, I've seen you operate. Yeah. That ain't even in your character. Right. He said, you're a motivator. You inspire. Right. He said, everybody has their piece of the pie. You got to find out what ingredient you are that makes you special in that pie. Right. If you do your part, my apologies.
It's all good, man. All good.
Yeah. So after that, I'm gonna stick to what I know. He said, whatever, at the time it was 12 years. So he said, whatever you've been doing 12 years in the Army, that's what you need. Don't change because you're a drill sergeant. You need to do that. Right. And I'm motivated. I'm jumping over the place, but I'm getting to a point.
No, you good. Do you?
I'm getting to a point. So, I'm motivating. I'm calling cadence. I'm doing stuff that I've done my whole career. And what took it off was, both my parents are deaf. My mother's hard of hearing. My father's 100% deaf. Wow. And so one day I was on CQ and I was watching this clip somebody sent me, and it was of a guy who went to ROTC program in college or whatever. Right. Met all credentials, but he was deaf. So he couldn't be commissioned for the Army, and they denied him. Wow. And so I watched it. I didn't think nothing of it. I thought it was an amazing story. Right. I watched it again. The second time, this is about 3 a.m. Mm-hmm. And I watched it again at 5 o'clock in the morning for the third time. And I had a personal conviction because I said, there's no way for my parents to be deaf and I not support a movement like this. And Fort Jackson has deaf people that work on post. They work at the DFAC. They work in human resource, so forth, so on. Right. So I took my drill sergeant hat, posted up my phone. I did a 1-minute clip. I put it on Instagram. I thought nothing of it. I probably had maybe 1,000 followers. That was it. Wow. By the time 2 hours later, after doing my little checks and balances, I look and folks is hitting me up like, yo, you viral, bro. Like, what are you talking about? Man, you did a video? I said, yeah, like 2 hours ago. Man, I don't know how, but that thing is sitting at 1 million views right now. Wow. So when my first sergeant came, I said, hey, I just want y'all to know, this wasn't my intention, but I did this video. This is why I did it. And my chain of command didn't even know my parents was deaf. You know what I mean? So they was like, you know sign language? I was like, yeah, I grew up, in a deaf community. Yeah. And so that was at 9 o'clock. Then I got off work to go rest, recover, to come back the next day. I got a call about 3 o'clock that day. First sergeant said, "Hey, man, we got to go see the man." Why? What happened? He was like, "Hey, that video is at 4.5 million views." What? I just did it this morning. How? I don't even have that many followers. I only got So I had to go see Major General Johnson at the time. So I'm thinking I'm gonna get, in trouble or chewed out. And so what he said about it hit me up, man.
It's all good, man.
Yeah.
They knew you was gonna be on the call.
Yeah. so hey, my grandmother would say, "Ain't nothing but the devil."
Ain't nothing but the devil.
My old grandma would say. So he said, "I love it." He said, "Your story is unique." He said, "I'm not in disagreement with it. I actually support it." He was like, "But the only issue is you did the video in uniform. And so it's in conflict with what, the Army's not accepting it and you do it." He said, "So I would just ask you, if you're going to do videos to support this cause, just don't do it in uniform." Right. And I said, "Okay, sir." And that's all that came from it. But look here, let me tell you how God worked. 3 months after that, everything took off. They wanted me to do Thanksgiving commercials in sign language for Fort Jackson. The guy that I was advocating for, they allowed him and his cadets to come to Fort Jackson. So the deaf cadets, because he opened up Maryland School for the Deaf, ROTC program. So it was about 7-8 students that they allowed to get some of the basic training experience for a week. And I was the host. So that, even if it's a crack in the door, you know what I mean? It for me, I said, hey, I may not even be alive to see when they allow deaf people to join the Army, but I know that I have something to do with that process, that I did my part. And after that, man, I'm not gonna lie, I took advantage unintentionally. It went from 1,000 to, 5,000 followers. And so what happened, there's a guy named Military Boot. That's the name of his Instagram. I haven't seen him in a while, but he was the hot guy in the military at the time. He's the one that took the video and put it on Facebook, and everybody, and that's how it went viral. Okay. And little did I know, cadence videos, every little thing that I was doing that was normal for me, he would take, and I was like, yo, I'm not sharing this with nobody. Who is? And my page is public. So he was just taking my stuff and reposting it.
And just sharing it.
it. And so, that's really how the game got started, man. I would talk to the soldiers, and people was like, "Hey, we need more drill songs like that." I would do videos in sign language. I did. There's a song a few years ago by Plies. Have you ever made love to a real hitter? Yeah. So I did that in sign language. Plies posted it. I got like 3,000.
Wow.
Plies hit me up like, yo, and I'm from Houston, so my man Hardbody Kiati, #1 DJ in H-Time 97.9 Box, he put me on. I'm chopping it up with Pow Wow. I'm chopping it up with Bun B. My cousin Jay Prince will rap a lot, and so I got some people in key positions. I'm just trying to orchestrate it, so once it's time for me to retire, I don't want to reinvent the wheel. I want to already have players in hand where I can create this community center, this rec center back home, and give back the way I can, because it take a village to raise a child, and that's how I came up, man.
That's you already doing that. Listen, man, you setting those stones right there, man. You're planting those seeds. Listen, you've been planting those seeds, right? For so long, man. You're motivating so many people that's not inside the military, right? And you talk about your family, man. But let me ask you this question right here. When you were 17 years old, man, and when you was in Houston, right? Houston, Texas, man, big up, man. You know what I'm saying? But when you was in Houston, Texas, and when you were 17 years old, first of all, why the military? And then 2, did you see this right here?
Man. Okay, so 17. No, I didn't know I was going to join the military. I didn't know I was going to join the military. Let me say that.
Okay.
Jay. I didn't know I was going to join the military. Believe it or not, I went to MacArthur High School in Houston, Texas.
Okay.
I was an athlete, pretty decent athlete. I'm not gonna tell you I was, first team 5-star athlete, but I could play. Come on.
Right.
And so my sophomore year, I got offered a scholarship to go to a Christian academy in Houston.
Okay.
And so I was telling my people, I said, man, I don't want to leave my boys. We grew up, the guys gonna leave my boys to go no Christian academy, go do nothing. They was like, bruh, they giving scholarship. I don't care. Money. And the school I was at was 5A. The school that they wanted me to go to was like 2, 3A. And
okay,
so they
smaller
like,
school.
Right. They're like, but if they're gonna pay you to win, go over there and do your thing.
Yeah.
So I go over there, and man, that same year I went, we won a state championship. Got the big championship ring, so that got me some notoriety. I was slot receiver then.
Check him out now.
Yeah, basketball, play shooting guard.
Okay.
I had I think one of the major big colleges was like TCU, Texas Christian University. Getting these scholarships and making it work. I had a job. I had my whip. And then at the time when I'm in there, this thing right here happened to me. That's my oldest daughter right there.
Okay.
That's my oldest daughter. So So I was at work. I had 2 jobs. I was working at McDonald's and I was working at a car dealership. And her mom, my 2 oldest daughters, their mom is deaf.
Okay.
Yeah. So her mom came up to the job and she says, she's like, "Yo, I'm pregnant." I look. I just say, "What?"
Yeah.
And she's like,
"Wait a minute."
Right.
Yeah.
I called coach at TCU actually. I said, "Hey, I found out I have a child on the way, blah, blah, blah. Workable." He's like, "We got you. We can get you a job. We got tutors." Still stuff was lined up.
Right.
Okay, this gonna work out. At the same time though, and I'm just being transparent. I'm a very open person. At that time, I was hiding it from my parents. I was hiding it from everyone. Wow. I didn't want nobody to know because I ain't want no trouble. I ain't want no, so I was like, man, I'm gonna keep this on the hush hush.
Right.
And the summer of graduation, the summer of 04, because she was born in 03, so my junior year she was born. So summer of 04, their mother hit me up. She said, "Hey, I'm pregnant again." I said, "Oh man, something like that."
Oh, so well, you let them go.
You
let them go.
I was moving. So I called coach. He said, "Hey, now you thin ice right here.
You doing too much."
What you gonna do?
Yeah.
There's a guy named Eric Dawson, man, a very pivotal from South Carolina, matter of fact.
Okay.
Yeah, from Columbus, South Carolina. And I'm gonna tell you what he did. I knew he was in the military. He went to our church. I grew up in the church, homebred in the church.
Good.
Church is like my foundation.
Yes.
And so I seen him. He was a recruiter in Houston. I said, "Hey man, how's the Army? Tell me about it." And he says, "Hey man, come on with me." So I go with him, and he goes to one of these high schools, and they have a prep rally, right? And he says, "Hey, who's the fastest guy? And who's the guy?" And they had the fastest guy in the school. He's probably, first, second in the state, whatever. And so he says at the prep rally, he's in his class B's. He said, "Hey, me and you on the track right now, right? If you beat me, I'll take you eat wherever you want. But if I beat you, you got to come to the recruiting station with me. You ain't got to sign nothing, but I get to have your time and you get to hear me out." So, everybody like, "Oh, you know how it is back in the day."
Yeah. Oh, here you go.
So the whole school go out there to the track meet. They align around the track. It's crazy because they already got the prep rally going.
Right.
And so the guy was like, "You gonna run in that? You good?" He's in B's. He was like, "Nah." So he takes off his class B's, and underneath his class B's, he has a one-piece all Army track uniform on.
Wow.
Reaches in his bag, and he has the yellow and black track shoes to go with the. He does a little stretch. Woo! He looks at him. He said, "You ready?" So now the school going real crazy. Like, he done did a Clark Kent. You know what I mean? He came out the jump. Like, "Hey, and he not skinny. He like
Right.
cut. He in
Yeah,
shape.
he's nice.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So I'm like,
Yeah.
this is crazy.
Yeah.
They shoot the gun, go. Young buck take off on him. Got 3-4 steps ahead of him. Man, Dawson hawked that boy down. Hawked him all the way down. Picked up his bags and said, "Let's go." That was the life changer for me. I said, "Hey, where I gotta sign up at?" And so the trick that he did was, I thought, since he was that way, I said everybody in the Army is that way. Everybody in the Army is squared away, in shape, you know. And I want to be like that, you know. Yeah. Join the Army. And don't get me wrong, Army's been great for me. But I learned very quickly there was only one Eric Dawson. Only one. And so I tell people, you got to always, you got to be originator. You can't duplicate. You can't copy anybody else, because if you do it, you're going to come up short. You're going to put out a falsified message. So that's how I end up joining the Army. Number one was because of my kids. Yeah, man, that's how it was, man. I was young buck, making it. Yeah. I was a good kid. I tried to run the streets and stuff, hit licks and stuff like that, but my boys wouldn't let me. I didn't understand it. And as I got older, when I hit 30, I had all the football, basketball players in my community. We went to Papados, I think. That's my favorite restaurant. We went to Papados. I was like, hey,
it's a pretty good restaurant.
How come y'all ain't I wanted to get out there and hit licks and run the streets while y'all. And they say, nah, man, you were different. You had a different responsibility. So you had your parents to take care of. You say, man, and God got something different. And that's from my boys that's telling me this, you know, when we was teenagers, the reason why. And so I said, man, I you know, it goes back to my faith. I said, man, I can't do nothing but thank God. You know what I mean? Because he just keep blessing me even when I don't deserve it, man. So. Listen,
man, you know, when we talk about your faith, man, you know, a lot of your messages are, you know, faith driven.
Right.
You're very, you know what I'm saying, biblical, but you know how to tie it to real life.
Right.
Where did you learn that? You know, like, you know, because, you know, most guys your age, man, you know, don't really have that Bible knowledge like that, right?
Right.
Where did you gain, you know, that information from? Like, just that skill to tie what you learned through the Bible to real life.
So for me, once again, the military enhanced that, but even before the military, the main thing for me was relatability and transparency. And so one thing that I hold to the leaders in the church I grew up in, and I've been to all of them, Apostolic, Pentecostal, Kojic, I've been to all of them. When I joined the Army and got on my own, what I realized very quickly when I went back to them, I said, hey, I appreciate the way that y'all raised us. You know what I mean? I learned a lot. You know, it takes a village to raise a child. I say, but I think y'all did an injustice to us to a certain degree. And they was like, what do you mean? I said, y'all told us what we could not do, but nobody told us what we could do. And nobody wanted to show their flaws to be transparent. So I knew that this deacon, this elder, this bishop, this minister was human. And nobody said, hey, I made these mistakes and I got through it. This is how I got through. And so, you know, in the Army, you got young soldiers and stuff. And like you said, everybody don't really move faith-based, this, that, and I said, the best way for me to reach the young folks is I have to find a common purpose, a common goal that I know everybody can buy into, and then I have to tie it in. So typically, some of my first speaking engagements in South Carolina were the Youth Challenge Academy. And even up in Georgia at Fort Gordon, the Youth Challenge Academy, Youth Challenge Academy up there. So when I'm talking to these guys, I already know these guys are really not trying to hear anything about faith, church, God, you know what I mean? It's you got to understand your audience, use social and emotional intelligence to know who you're dealing with. So what I would do, I would talk about things that I know they talk about. I would bring up sports because I know that's prevalent in their conversations, especially if the playoffs was going on. I know you thinking about Steph Curry and LeBron and who's best. So I'll talk about that and you know, knowing about Jordan and LeBron, how he came up with his mother, just using that backstory to say, hey, these guys made it, you can too, and then paralleling it to something that's in the Word, you know, without forcing. It's not, for me, it's not really religion. I'm not a religious guy. I'm a faith-driven guy, you know? And so I try to tell them, hey, I'm not trying to get you to, you know, place Christianity on you. But if you believe in a supreme higher being of deity, if you believe in that there's a higher spirit, then check this out. Jesus had to go through it.
Come on.
What makes you think you're not going to go through it? If he had to go through it, you got to go through it. And so, and the method just worked for me. Whether I went biblical first and then flipped it, or whether, and I do it based off my crowd. You know, if it's typically the younger the crowd, I'll throw something like, if I was talking to maybe the Youth Challenge Academy now, or some young people now, COVID-19's went on, so of course it prevents some stuff. But I would bring up Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion, that, you know, the WAP, you know, and because I know that's the hot thing. Everybody talking about the WAP. So Jack, how do you take something that they put out, the WAP? How can you flip those acronyms to something else? How can, and that's how my mind thinks. I'm like, okay, this is hot. How can I change this and make it into something? Not saying, you know, I'm not knocking nobody, but how can I change it to a message that can uplift and inspire somebody? Okay, let me bring up the WAP, because the WAP is the buy-in. I say anything about the WAP, they like, hey, he talking about that.
Yeah,
I can switch. I can switch and maybe say, hey, and I'm just going off the top of my head, but I'm saying maybe wisdom, aspiration, and perseverance. You know what I mean? And then use stories relevant in real life that goes to each of those letters, right? And then connect it to the biblical part. And then, so now when you talk about the WAP, we ain't just talking about that WAP, we talking about this WAP. You know what I mean?
But Chris, give you some credit here, man. You know, your messages, like, you come with them so random though. Like, listen, man, you can be running somewhere. Man, you'd have been walking somewhere. Like, man, you'd have been leaving the doggone store, right? Then get on social media with a dope, man, message. Like, do they come while you just walking, or do you just think about them, you know what I mean, and then you just share them?
No, man, so it's funny you say that, man. I was talking to somebody about this not too long ago. And as cliche as it sounds, man, I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't post anything if I don't have anything. You know, like some people, you know, some people have they have like timelines, like, hey, I'm gonna post every Wednesday. I'm not gonna lie, I tried to have a schedule, you know, like, okay, I'm gonna post every Wednesday, or maybe I'm gonna do Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I'm gonna, and I never could be disciplined to stay with it. And it wasn't so much discipline, it was I didn't have a word. If I didn't have a word, if I don't have a word, I'm not gonna speak. And so I could randomly just be doing anything. And in the spirit, something, it can be something small. I can be sitting, I think one of the messages I did a while, I was talking about how light attracts the most bugs. So you have to let your light shine, right? That came from me sitting out on my patio, and I seen all these beetles and stuff hitting, and I was like, yo, why are all these insects going to this light? And so then I Googled, why does insects, and it says, well, insects in the daylight go towards natural light. Okay, I forgot what the word. I forgot what the word was. The science definition. But naturally, they move towards light. But in the dark, that's why the light has all the bugs and insects. And it's right when I say, oh, said, so you're gonna have haters. You're gonna have people talking about you, because your light is necessary. That's why you got all those haters, because your light that's shining attracts the most bugs. So it'll just come from an instance like that. Like, I didn't, you know, I could be walking, it just randomly comes, to be honest with you. Or I could be listening to another speaker. I can be listening to you or Tim, I can TD Jakes or any Les Brown. I can listen to somebody and I'm like, yo, that's fire. But they may have left, or they may have dropped a crumb while we was eating. There's a couple crumbs that they dropped. And
Come on.
said, oh, I can take this crumb and make a whole nother message of this.
Come on.
Did he just say, hold on. Hey, have you thought about, yo?
Yeah,
and then,
it hits.
And then it hit. And so literally, that's what happens, man. Literally. And I try to be very transparent with people. I tell people 99% of my messages, brother, they for me. I'm going through it. I'm going through it.
You talk to yourself.
Yeah. I either been through it, I'm either about to go through it, or I either just came out of it.
Right.
And so what I know, that's why I got the trademark. The message ain't for everybody.
The message ain't for everybody.
So I tell people, whether you get 1 like, or whether you get 1,000 views, or whether you get 2,000, as long as one person get it, I've operated in purpose. And there's times where we deal with our own personal stuff in life, and you want to give up and you want to quit. We all been there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's times where I be like, man, forget this. But it's somebody that hit me up in the DM and say, hey, man, from all across the world, man, the UK, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Italy, I mean, hey, I was suicide. Like the message will come, like I get excited, like, ooh, that's a fire. I'll just do that tomorrow. And I'm restless. I can't even sleep. Man, I get up, put my do-rag on, throw a shirt on, say, hey man, I don't know who this for, but I'm gonna be obedient to what's on me. And once I release it, I go to sleep well at night. And then so as it comes is how I give it, brother, to be honest with you.
Man, let me ask you this question right here, man. Your future is bright, man, and you're still young, man. And I see it, no matter what you may feel right now, but I really see, man, ministry, in your future, man. Is that something that you could possibly see for yourself, possibly?
I have to be. I can say yeah, and like my grandmama say, baby, you can only run for so long.
You can only run for so long.
The degree that I'm pursuing right now is in Christian leadership. Leadership is my favorite subject. Right. But I'm pursuing in Christian leadership, and so what a lot of people don't know, and I haven't displayed, but those who back home who grew up with me know. Mm-hmm. I preached my first sermon at 16 years old.
Oh wow.
I preached my first sermon at 16 years old. And my first sermon was called Saved But Not Delivered. That was the name of my first sermon. And matter of fact, we shouted church service. It was a Friday night, youth night. And all my friends came from high school and stuff. And we shouted that church service out. So that's why it was critical when I found out about my daughter, the reason why I didn't want anybody to know. And so I kind of, And I had to go talk to Bishop. My mom made me go talk to her and say, hey, I'm sorry. I got a child on the way. And I was at the time, I probably was the golden child. I was the guy the moms was getting their daughters ready to marry.
Right.
He probably gonna be the next, whatever.
Yeah.
So as far as church, they had put me on a pedestal. But because I had my daughter out of wedlock and stuff. And this is what the pastor told me. The pastor said, hey, they're no different than you. You just got caught up. Stay in the fight. Don't give up. But at that time, I was too immature to understand what he was saying. And I backslid. And when I mean I backslid, I kind of fell off of attending church and doing that. But I never forgot one thing that I tell anybody when it comes to my faith. Once you experience God for yourself, based off of whatever you've been through, you can't tell me no different. You can't tell me nothing about, I don't care how you interpret the word, I ain't gonna argue with you about Bible scriptures and who and what you believe. I'm gonna tell you what I've experienced myself. And because I experienced it for myself, you can't change my experience. Everybody has their own different experience. So even though I was away from the church, my faith was still relevant and strong. And my prayer has been throughout is continue to be a light to my path. Don't let me be so far removed from you that I forget your voice. You know what I mean? Keep, you know, and I got prayer warriors in my family, man. I don't know if you see post on the story. I got a great aunt that's 100. She's 100 years old right now, walking and talking. My grandmother's a prayer warrior. My great aunt's mother, which is my great grandmother, she is 114. You know what I mean? And this is all, you know, your ancestors and the elders in your family praying you on, and that's just been my foundation, man. T.I. said it best for me, man. T.I. said something in an interview a while back. He said, "Hey, man, I go motivate the kids." What he said? He said, "I motivate the kids. I beat you up. I do this. I tuck my kids in the bed, kiss my wife." He said, "I'm all that," and that's really like where I'm at.
That's you.
I try to tell people, please don't look at my platform. Please don't look at me and automatically assume that I'm better than anybody. Don't put me on a pedestal. No. I'm just like you. I'm you know, I'm human. I'm flawed, and unfortunately, that's just the society we live in. If you know, they'll put you on the pedestal and they'll say you this, that.
Of course.
And so, you know, if you do something that's unorthodox or out the ordinary for them, then they want to downplay you. But I tell people, hey, man, I'm obedient to what's on me, but I am who I am. You know what I mean?
Listen, man. And you're one of the best at being who you are, man.
I appreciate
that. Listen, man, you're motivating, man. So many people, man. And, you know, we love you. And, you know, more importantly, first of all, you know, we appreciate your service, bro. You know what I'm saying? We appreciate your service, but we appreciate your message, man. And we only got about 5 more minutes left, man. What I want to ask you about, man, is, you know, we have, you know, the opportunity to see the first, you know, female Black vice president, right? Now, you have daughters, and you see the whole Black Lives Movement thing going on right now, right?
Yes, sir.
Have you had that conversation with your daughters?
Yes. So, you know, I had all my kids this summer, and so one thing that I pushed to them was the financial literacy and the educational piece. Right. What I know now, I didn't know at 16. Right. So I figure everybody who has kids, I think, has the mindset you want your children to live a better life than you. And so when we talk about presidency and we talk about getting in the door, getting in the room, one thing that I still in my daughter, especially my oldest daughter who you just seen, your gift will make room for you. Your gift will take you places though where your character can't keep you. So you have to make sure that your character is in line with your gift. If you allow your gift to lead and your character to fall behind, then you're going to come up short. So you got to always have a metrics or someone who can hold you accountable and say, hey, you're getting beside yourself. And the two things that always fall is ego and pride. And so I tell my daughters, you know, look at what's going on in the world. Look at from when we had Obama to what we have right now. You know, first African-American, like, you may not want to be, you know, they may not want to be politicians or anything like that. But look, she's making waves, and it's groundbreaking waves. What waves will you make? How does this impact? What does this say to you?
You know what I'm saying? What I love, man, is that you're so passionate about what you do. And, you know, you've impacted, you know, so many people's lives, man. And what's crazy is, you know, my question to you is, do you feel like being, you know, serving your country right now, do you feel like that's hindering you from traveling the world giving your message? Because in my opinion, you know, you just like, shoot, man, Les Brown, E.T. Thomas, all them boys, man. Like, you have that skill set. You know what I'm saying? Like, do you feel like, you know, kind of being limited to, you know, let's say moving around because, you know, because you have duties. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you can't just move like that.
Yeah. I would say to a certain degree, what I try to do to the best of my ability is expound and expand or maximize the potential in which I can, even though I am in the military, I can't just go up and lead when I want.
Right.
But what I can, if there's a speaking engagement, something going on, I'll tell somebody in this capacity. But look, it measures up to, on my evaluation or on the Army values, this is how I'm still representing the Army. It's like a dual hat thing. And depending on what chain of command you got and their personality, 9 times out of 10, they'll roll with you. They'll say, yeah, man, go do that. I want you to go do that. And at times where you can't, you have to do some self-development. Right now, I'm actually in a power voice group with Les Brown. And I submitted a 3-minute video that he gave me some candid feedback on. And I got selected to submit a 15-minute video, which I've just did. And so I'm in competition with probably 1,000 other people, and I'm hoping to get selected. They got 18 slots, and they're going to announce it August 31st, the folks who got selected, to be on a virtual panel with Les Brown.
Man, listen, they are lucky, you know, that I'm not one of those voters, bro. Because I would have voted you in 10 times over 10, man, because I feel like, you know, the world needs to hear your voice, man. They need to hear your message. Like I said, man, from the day that we met, man, you know, you have been such a gift to us. And you know, your words, man, your motivation, man. Listen, man, not only that, man, but when you're running, man, you know what I'm saying, when you're working out, you know what I'm saying, and when you're helping those young men and women, you know what I'm saying, that's leading my country. You know what I'm saying? You know, because you guys don't realize, you know, but it's because of you that we can sleep at night.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we appreciate that, but we need more leaders like you, man, who are humble, you know, but are fearless. And, you know, teams stay motivated, man. Listen, that's a movement, bro. That's a movement, but that's also a strong legacy that you can leave to your kids, man. So, you know, how do you feel about having this kind of legacy that you can leave to your kids, bro?
My kids are my fire. They are the fuel to my fire. I think a couple of weeks ago, I did a video on legacy. I just got through eating lunch on the way to work.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I was talking with a young guy, and he was saying, man, I'm gonna be a legend. I'm gonna be a legend. Right. And I was like, hey man, it's cool to be a legend. Yeah. I was like, man, but what legacy will you leave? And then based off that conversation, I was able to do the video. And I tell my kids all the time, the work that I'm putting in now, the seeds that I'm planting in now in your minds and your spirit will live long after I'm dead and gone. And so what you have to understand about purpose is one of my favorite subjects, but what you have to understand is purpose is bigger than you. Purpose has nothing to do with you. Purpose has everything to do with somebody else. Inspiring, motivate, blessing somebody else. And I said, purpose has no face. You don't have to be skinny, fat. It don't matter. Purpose don't care what it come in, as long as you activate it. And you have to understand the process of purpose is different for everybody.
Come on, man.
Some of us grew up with 2-parent homes in the suburbs with a silver spoon in our mouth. Some of us, single-parent home, middle class. Some of us, no parents, grew up on the street, trapping and rapping. Process. Some folks got head starts to purpose, but the end state, purpose has a destination. So it's not about how you start. It's definitely about how you finish. You know, and so that's why I try to teach my daughters and even my son, man. I try to tell them, what's your gift? Not what you want to do because somebody else do it. What's the one thing you know that you do that you can't nobody quite do that thing like you? What's your passion? What's the one thing you just can't stop doing that you, not that you love to do and you suck at it, but you love to do it and you know you're great at it. And for my oldest daughter, it's art, it's painting. That's the thing. So baby, do that. And I know as a father, I have to speak life into her. I know I have to, because if I don't, and somebody else tells her otherwise, they can mess up the trajectory of her success. Yes. So I'm going to speak life into you every time. And just as I told you that, you got to speak life into yourself. You know, you just said recently about hey man, I see you with, amongst the Les Browns and E.T. and Inky Johnson. I've never seen myself that way. Right. Actually, the guy at the leadership conference, I don't know his name, the young brother with the glasses. Is it Patrick. Harvey? Patrick. Okay. Patrick. So yeah, so he was like, hey, we was talking finances and and charging speaking engagements and stuff. And I was like, oh, man, I just like to speak, man. I don't do it for no money. I just do it. He was like, man, do you know you have when you're surrounded around people who believe in you more than you believe in yourself, it's different. It's different. It was a hard pill for me to swallow, to know that people view you like that. Even now, my job, I go around the world issuing weapons. So I'm always gone. You'll see me every other week. I'm in another state doing something. Right. But the people I meet along the way, like I was just coming in Dallas in my connecting flight, at a group of people. Hey, T-Stable, hey, Sean, hey, keep doing da-da-da-da-da. And the other people who don't know me, they're looking, hey, who are you? I seen it. And you like, man, Jokers is really watching. Like, you know what I mean? You don't even know that it's like that. And it just, it gives you that fuel, like, bro, I gotta keep pushing. I gotta keep going, and seeing Tim, like you said, those other motivational speakers out there, all of it is inspiring. They said iron sharpens iron. You know what I mean? Iron sharpens iron. And a lot of times we're winning amongst ourselves and we don't even know it. Like at the leadership conference, seeing them young brothers write books and publish them, right? Right. I would be stupid to want to write a book and not reach out to one of them young brothers and say, hey, how'd you do that? Right. A lot of times, we're weakened because we're afraid to ask. Come on, man. The questions, our pride and our ego get in the way. And that's a word. I've never. Somebody asked me something. If I don't know, I'm gonna tell you. I don't know. I can find out. I know somebody who. But if I don't know, I don't know. Teach me. I want to be a sponge. I'll soak it all up. And so, as I live, I try to have my daughters and my son live through me, because I don't want to hoard it. I don't know how you grew up, but I say down south, when grown folks talk, the kids, you went outside or you stayed in the other room. You ain't getting grown folk conversation. Right. No. That dynamic for me and my household it's changed a little bit, because when I have the adult conversations, I want my kids in the room. And the reason why I want my kids in the room, because the conversations are more potent at school. The conversations are more, you know what I mean? I'd rather you hear, the realness of what I'm about to say out my mouth. Right. You hear from somebody else and then want to do it because you're peer pressured by what they saying. No, let daddy put you on the reel. I'm gonna put you on the reel. Let me tell you how I was, blah, 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 man. So that's dope. So yeah, man. That's dope, man. Listen, man, I appreciate you, brother, man. You have dropped some gems today. Man, I hope my listeners will have their pens and pads out, but I'll make sure that that they do have their pens and pads out, because you dropped some jewels, man, like you always do, man. And I'm one of your biggest fans, man, and that's not something that I'm ashamed to actually say, because man, we have so many men who are afraid to give men their flowers. Come on now. What I mean? Come on now. But you know what I'm saying? But I appreciate you, my brother, man. You've done so much for me, man. You don't even realize that I've had days, man, when I've been down in the dumps, lost my mother, man, all that stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? But but I'm scrolling. Now, just your messages, man. It's like, listen, man, keep doing what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't even realize, but you're touching so many people's lives, man. You know what I'm saying? And, whenever you feel down, bro, just think about this, man, that there may be like 10 people that need to hear your message. You know what I'm saying? That can help them get through, you know what I'm saying, whatever they got going on right now. You know what I'm saying? So, listen, man, keep it going, man. Listen, man, thank you for coming to the Community Vibes Podcast, man. It's one of those things where I just like to highlight people, that I love, that I admire, because I feel like we don't do enough of that, Right. And we got to lift each other up, brother.
You know what I'm saying? There's so much hate going on right now in the world. And, you know, we have to learn that, listen, we can't go nowhere without each other. You know what I'm saying? So we got to make sure we lift each other up. Now, I can't let you go without, you know what I'm saying? Like my podcast, man, we never let the guests leave without this magic question. You have to answer the magic question.
Okay.
All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, Chris. Now this is serious. This is the most serious question in the world right now. All right?
Okay.
All right. Now, I know you eat chicken wings.
I do.
I know you eat chicken wings. All right.
I do.
Now, when it comes to chicken wings, do you prefer the wings, the drums or the flats?
Flats all day.
Ah!
Flats all day.
Come on, man. Why the flats, though? Why the flats?
Because it's easy to dip. Because when I dip the whole thing in the flat and I can go. The drum, only get one side of the drum. I got to force it in there. I don't want to force nothing. I just want to lay it in my ranch and just eat, man. Look, I take flats all day, bro.
All day long. Okay.
Flats all day.
The flats been winning all summer, man. The flats have been winning all summer. I probably have had about like 4 drum lovers from like 40 doggone flat lovers, man. So
yeah, man. Flats they know why.
Man. But listen, man. So my listeners, man, when they watch this show, man, those who may not know who you are, how can they follow you, bro?
So you can check me out, of course, on Instagram. It's team_stay motivated.
Okay.
You go on YouTube and put in Team Stay Motivated. It's more, on YouTube, it's more military cadence videos. You'll see some videos with me talking to soldiers and motivating them when I was a drill sergeant. I have a website, which is www.tsmmovement.com. It's actually been updated because I'm putting my patented phrase on t-shirts now. You know, God will turn your mess into a message. You know, the message ain't for everybody, but you know it's for somebody. Grace under pressure, things like that. What else I got? Boom, boom. So yeah, those really are the 3. I have Facebook, which is Christopher the Motivator. And I got 2 different pages. I got my public page on Facebook where I just share the same content. And then I have another public page that's for my deaf audience, where sometimes I go live and do sign language to the deaf audience and connect with them.
Right. Okay. Listen, you guys, make sure that you go follow this guy. If you're already not following this guy, I promise you, your life will be impacted, man. I'm telling you, he is one of the best, man, motivators there is out right now, man. You know, and he's not new to the game, man. He's been doing this for a mighty long time, man. Listen, man, Texas, man, stand up, man. Houston, Texas, stand
all
up.
Day.
Okay?
All day.
You know what I'm saying? All day long, man. Listen.
Yeah. Hey,
listen, man, I appreciate you, my brother. Huh?
I say we got to converse about that purple. I like that purple you got on, man.
Hey, we always looking for new members, baby. We always looking for new members.
Hey, when I was in Korea, I was with the bros all day. Pittman.
Okay.
Yeah. I was with him the whole time over there.
Hey, we always looking for new good brothers, man.
Yeah. I like that purple. That purple looking good.
Hey, man. I mean, it's a nice color, man. It means royalty, baby.
Yeah. I'm thinking about seeing what that's about right now.
Hey, listen, man. If you ever want to talk about it, man, you got my number, man. You just call me, brother. Hey,
yeah, brother.
But man, thanks again, man, for everything. You know what I'm saying, that you're doing, my brother, man. I love what you're doing, man. You know what I'm saying? Keep it up. And listen, this won't be the last one, my brother, man. I appreciate you, bro.
No doubt, man. Love, man. Y'all know the message ain't for everybody.
But you know, it's for somebody.
Hey, be blessed, brother.
Take care.
Yo, King Dumb, Community vibes, community ties. Terrance Tucker is the brother who's connecting the tribe. You say you want shine, come get your shine on. You say you want vibes, come get your vibe on. Community vibes, community ties. Terrance Tucker is the brother who's connecting the tribe. Hey, you say you want shine, we'll get your shine on. You say you want vibes, we'll get your vibe on.